Hello, everybody. James here. Now, yes, if you can believe this, some people, and by people I mean the bottom 1% of people with the capability to type and post stuff online, had a problem with William Regal seeing a dangerous and ultimately pointless wrestling move that could have ended in paralysis, and then begged wrestlers to make smarter choices and take better care of themselves. Yes, some sickos apparently had a problem with that sentiment. Now, William Regal's post was seemingly in response to the Kyle Fletcher versus Jon Moxley like head and arm suplex, backwards suplex kind of thing from the second rope at AEW's World's End pay-per-view this past weekend. And if you saw it, you probably freaked out because Moxley dropped Fletcher right on his head. And even from the setup, you look at it, there was kind of little other way for that move to go other than almost complete disaster as how that ended up. Thankfully, Kyle was fine, or at least he said he was fine, but I'm going to get to that later. But once again, the move didn't add anything to the match, and it wasn't the finish. And once again, there was absolutely no consequences as far as the match was concerned. Now we'll get to Regal's tweet. It is accompanied by a picture of one of the times he had a broken neck or suffered a broken neck. But here's what he says. I stay off here, social media, but was alerted to something today that has me alarmed. I don't read any comments, so don't waste your time trying to argue or justify your very wrong opinions on this. I broke my neck twice in 1993 in ring and a car wreck in 97 and stupidly never told anyone. And I was taught properly how to bridge and not land on the top of my head. It's a skill that maybe 99.9% of people don't know or will ever learn anymore. I kept going somehow, but no, all the tricks in that again people don't learn now and watch film and just copy. After Masawa-san passed away from his neck problems, I thought it would stop this nonsense, but it's got worse. And whenever I talk to people about them doing it, it's, well, it doesn't hurt. Believe me, it will. I have people close to me now, Brian Danielson, being one who is suffering daily like myself from his neck. It's a daily misery, and sleep and every other aspect of your life is more than hard. Although people use the term tough about me, you'll never hear me say that, as I'm not, and don't think I am or ever have been. Money and whatever nonsense fame is supposed to be is not worth the pain or supposed to evening glory you get from these ridiculous moves dropping yourself on your head. The vast majority of fans don't know the difference between a vertical suplex and a brainbuster, and that's a far tamer move that many I see now. I'm 57 and become less relevant every day, but fame has never been my thing, so most of you doing this stupid stuff are not going to listen to me, but hopefully a few do. Stop it now if you want a decent quality of life after wrestling, because that part of your life will be over before you know it, and wrestling done right is hard enough, but broken necks or death are not something you should think is tough or cool. It's idiotic thinking.
All right, so with the first part out the way, so just in case there's anybody that's like, what the hell is going on? What's this video about? What the hell is AEW? What's pro wrestling? So for anybody that at least knows of WWE, WWF, there is a rival company right now called AEW that, well, yeah. So that's kind of what this is about. There was a match between two wrestlers. Whereas James was talking about, the guy was dropped on his head. Jesus, you could elaborate a little bit right now. But basically, we're gonna be reacting to the reaction of a lot of their fans to what a former WWE wrestler, now is retired, but he still works within the WWE company. His comments on Twitter, I believe, about the situation. So that's what James was reading, was the tweet of William Regal, the former WWF, WWE wrestler, that he gave his criticism about a lot of these moves. But Jesus, elaborate a little bit about that match.
It was a decent match up until that spot happened, and I don't think because the move is meant to be like a suplex, so you put your opponent over yourself and then you throw them, and unfortunately someone didn't put enough momentum into the move, and it just went horribly wrong. To the
Now
point.
this was off the what, like second, third, top of the rope.
Yes, it was
Okay,
off the top rope,
okay.
and yeah, it was really bad, like to watch. Like even the crowd like gasped, and they were everyone was kind of like, "Ooh, that hurt." Um, do you think that he's in the wrong for what he said?
So Yeah, to react to his like our reaction to his tweet, no. William Regal, no. I don't. So just not to give the entire thing away, but the AEW fans are complaining right now that he's, I guess, picking on AEW wrestlers since this happened within their company and he works for WWE. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. The fact that he's, saying like a lot of these moves shouldn't be done, especially I now transparency. I'm not a AEW fan. I'm somewhat of a WWE fan. I occasionally watch it, so I'm not gonna say I'm a hardcore fan. And I have my criticisms in what's going on in WWE right now, but I don't find anything that AEW finds does, I mean, like, interesting. But that's just me because I grew up on WWE stuff. So obviously, I'll have a certain bias towards it. But one thing that I've noticed in all these wrestling companies, that they've been doing a lot is a lot of these stupid moves where people are getting dropped on top of their head, on the back of their neck. Um, Now, for anybody who isn't too into like professional wrestling, there is a way to take a lot of these moves where you're not landing on the back of your neck or on your head, because obviously this is, and close your ears, children, not real. Uh, so that, obviously you're trying to protect the person that is taking the move. So there is a way for the person taking the move and the person giving the move to do it, to make sure that the move is as safe as possible. But for some reason of the last few years, it seems like wrestlers are starting to do a lot of these moves that, to me, it's just stupid. Whether it's WWE, AEW, TNA, whatever wrestling company, you're doing moves to make it look as real as possible, but then you're getting up from them like right away. If you're trying to make it realistic, then if someone is getting dropped on the top of their head, they wouldn't just jump back up and start jumping around like that. But we want to try to make it as real as possible when everybody in the world knows, except maybe little kids, that this is all scripted, right? It's not all real. So I don't understand what's up. Why it's similar to like back in the day with the unprotected steel chair shots, or a lot of the shots that was taken to the head, whether depending on like the weapon, whatever, but especially the steel chair shots. And how back then, that's how a lot of professional wrestlers in WWE, WWF, ECW, WCW ended up with concussions, and some of them, led to death. So I'm not too sure why now I don't want to say illegal, but that's not, you're not supposed to do that. Now we replace it with, let's take these just unrealistic, unbelievable moves, and like what James was saying, it doesn't even add anything to the match. So whether or not the move that they were doing from the top rope was meant to go the way that it did, it doesn't change the fact that AEW especially is known for a lot of these, ridiculous moves. WWE is also, like I said, I'm seeing a lot of that stuff in WWE also.
There was a move there was between these two wrestlers named Kairi Sane and Io Sky, where Kairi propped up Io. She lifted up Io and slammed her on the edge of the ring on her neck. And that kind of caused a lot of people to be like, why did she do that? She shouldn't have done that. Like, that's not being responsible with the other person. And the argument there was that these girls, they're Japanese wrestlers, and the Japanese wrestling oftentimes goes very, very, they go hard on each other. Like, they genuinely try to hit each other, and stuff like that. And so, to some people, it's like, oh, this is a normal spot for them. Like, it's whatever, she's fine, you know? But I could understand, like, visually, it was a really tough spot to watch. She basically just flung her onto the apron, like, neck first, and she just kind of went down.
So what do you think of his comments?
Honestly,
Do
I
you
think
agree or disagree?
I think he has more of a point than anyone else does, because I mean, he's the one who put his body through this business. He's the one who was part of that generation where they didn't have concussion
Yeah,
testing. They
he
didn't.
took a shitload of
Yeah,
chair shots.
they didn't know what that was. For God's sakes, you know, he wrestled the wrestler Chris Benoit a lot, and we saw what happened with him. And
And he even brought up what's his name in AEW? Daniel Bryan.
yeah, he brought up Daniel Bryan and his neck issues, and
Yup.
how Regal also has neck issues. And it's like it's a weird thing, because it does take a toll on you, like a lot.
And so you bring up like the example with Kyrie saying that Io Sky. I get that, you know, it's not like they're being reckless. Well, they are being reckless, but it's not like, you know, Io Sky went out of her way to hurt Kyrie saying.
It was Kyrie giving the move to you.
Well, either way,
Yeah,
like it's I get that it's still planned out. Like, you know, they both agreed on it, but nevertheless, and I've said this about Japanese wrestling especially. If you want to make it real, then just go into real wrestling or real, you know, UFC.
Yeah.
I don't understand why we're trying to make what's supposed to be a scripted program, but yeah, we're okay with everything else. You know, giving a wink to the audience, like see, it's not real.
I think the weird part is that there are fans out there who genuinely want to see these people get put through shit, like, and it's like they want to see them get put through like actual tables and stuff like that, and land on their heads and make it look brutal and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you know, it's a choreographed thing. Like, you need to keep yourself safe.
And see, like, to me, I've seen, you know, I was never really a big fan of Daniel Bryan's, you know, wrestling or anything like that, but I seen just the damage that he took, especially with a lot of the stupid moves that he would do to the back of the neck when he came back from his retirement. And he was still taking a lot of those hits, whether he was getting dropped on the back of his neck. I remember when he had that match with Brock Lesnar, and he was getting dropped at on his back, on the back of his neck. And now look at him right now. He's again he retired, and now he's having issues to even like move around when he's wrestling with his child. So I don't understand for a lot of these fans that are getting upset that, oh, he's criticizing AEW. How dare the man criticize and care about, you know, the safety of AEW wrestlers?
And I think his criticism goes far beyond AEW, where it's like it overshadows the entire wrestling like landscape. He just wants everyone to be safe.
Like, if you're a fan of these wrestlers, whether or not I am or not, but if you're a fan of a lot of these wrestlers, then you should care about the safety of these people. They're not stunt doubles. They're not actors.
Stunt men and stunt women.
Yeah, they're not, you know, they're not actors like you would see on movies. They're putting their lives at risk. And then you're doing unnecessary like moves that to make it real looking, you know, and at the end no one really remembers, you know, anything about I know he brings up like the match between Mick Foley and Undertaker. By the way, go check out the entirety. I think we're done with the video. But he talks about the Hell in a Cell match between Mick Foley and Undertaker, and when he, you know, well,
when he basically
got
when Mick dropped off the roof of the cage and he landed, and that part wasn't.
It was multiple moves that because he got choke slam off the cage through the announce table,
right,
and then there was I think it was a second choke slam through the cage,
and that part wasn't planned. He talks about this in his book. He says that that second spot, that move,
it wasn't really like, it wasn't planned for it to go like that.
Yeah, it wasn't planned for the cage to fall, and he wasn't supposed to fall through, but he did. He ended up like some injuries to his back, and he lost like his teeth. He
lost a tooth, yeah.
His teeth went through his nose.
Yep.
And that's another one that is just like, damn, like he put himself through a lot.
And he uses Mick Foley as an example that, you know, all these hardcore matches that Mick Foley went through, and yeah, some of them are pretty memorable, but he brings up how he became famous in WWF when he started using the sock. And if you think about it, it's very true. Like, how many outside of the hardcore fans, right? Because the hardcore fans, obviously, they're gonna know. Oh, don't you remember when he wrestled in New Japan and he got his ear ripped off? Like, people are gonna obviously remember that.
Brutal.
But people like me, right? That I'm not gonna go out of my way to, you know, steal cable to watch a match that, you know, I'm just gonna be like, and forget about it later on. People will just be, again, there's the difference between professional wrestling that's still scripted, right? But you have more of the quote unquote sport athletic side of it, and then you have your or am I getting it wrong? Sport entertainment. There you go.
Yeah.
Sport entertainment, which is more like, you know, the theatrics, the promos, all of it. That, in my mind, in my opinion, I think really makes the match or the superstar really more memorable. And how even the person off screen right now, he used to watch WWE, WWF also. He wasn't tuning in to watch like, oh, I want to see what lock and how, you know, Kurt Angle drops whoever on the top of their head. He remembers the promos. He remembers, you know, stuff like that. And a lot of people that were into the WWE, WWF, WCW, ECW stuff. All right, at least the first three. They'll remember more of the character. They remember more of the promos, the feuds, the stories that was being told than the actual matches themselves. So I don't understand why we're getting upset, why we're getting defensive that, oh, he's attacking one side. Regardless if he is or not being biased because he works for WWE, nevertheless, he's bringing up a good point. Because right now, and see, that was something that I don't know if you know, but right now there's a shitload of AEW superstars that's injured, right?
Yeah.
Now, luckily, the guy that got dropped on his head right now, Kyle, what's his last name?
Kyle Fletcher.
He didn't get injured as far as we know, but also, as you know, you never know the future effects that it might have on your body.
Yeah.
I think that, I'm no professional, I no expert, I no doctor, but I think that's why you do see someone like what happened with Liv Morgan, that she got injured from a very basic move. I think after a while, your body, you know, with so many hits that you take, it becomes, I don't want to say fragile, but I think it does become it becomes a little bit easier for you to get injured later on in the future of something very small than something, you know, this extreme. So to kind of wrap up, at least on my end, I don't think there's anything wrong with what Regal said. Like you said, if anyone should be able to give their opinion, it should be someone like him that was very well known. Maybe wasn't, you know, top star and all that,
Yeah.
but was very known and has experience and has knowledge. Also, he knew a lot of people that suffer from a lot of neck injuries, a lot of CTEs and all that.
A lot of people who unfortunately aren't here today because of the CTEs and just the injuries to their body.
And he's, you know, he also worked for AEW. So obviously he cares for a lot of people over there.
That's true.
So for all the fans that, you know, regardless of the tribalism that's so stupid that's going on right now between both companies, the fandoms that are doing that, right? If you care about the wrestlers, then you should care about their safety, regardless of not who's talking about what. For the ones that are more, oh well, it adds on to it. You're weird. You know, there's no other way to put it. You're weird. You got something wrong with you. Get some therapy. Because if you find it amusing to see someone putting their life at risk, but quote unquote, you care about them, you care about the product, you care about the industry, you care about that company, you don't. You just care about your own sicko entertainment. And like I said, I might have a certain bias about WWE, but nevertheless, I still don't agree with a lot of stupid stuff that they're doing in any of these professional companies. Because whether or not I'm a fan of the wrestlers, at the end of the day, that's still a human being behind that character. So I hope this stops. I doubt it. Of these unnecessary moves that really isn't doing anything. Because tomorrow, no one's gonna know who this Kyle Fletcher guy is outside of the hardcore fans. No one's gonna, outside of his fandom, is gonna be like, oh, remember when he got dropped on his head? And the same thing goes for anybody, WWE, AEW, whatever company that are doing these moves. It's the same thing for them. People are going to forget. So for hopefully we can try to hold these wrestlers also as fans. Like, hey, you guys don't need to do this for our entertainment. Please stop. I don't want you to get hurt. I want you to be able to carry your child, or be okay. Like, wake up and not be in constant pain. So that's on my end. That's at least all I got. Jesus, wrap up thoughts.
Honestly, he's very correct again, and I don't think people should be bashing him for his own experience in the company. And he's seeing the younger talent put themselves through moves that honestly don't feel like they need to. And anyways, that's all the thoughts that I have about this.
Always very short and to the point.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching the video.
Go check out the entirety of the video. Like I said, the channel is called James Romero, and put in your comment in the comment section what you guys believe, what you guys think. Whether you're a fan of WWE, AEW fan, let's keep it respectful. Whether or not you're a professional wrestling fan, I think this topic goes more about the fandoms themselves, right? We only talked about pro wrestling fans today.
That's true.
But
I want to hear someone's take of it from the NBA.
Yep.
And the NFL.
Yep.
Especially the NFL.
Especially.
Oh, yeah.
But make sure to like and share with anyone that you think might be interested in this. Check out our channel. Check out all our content. Subscribe if you haven't. Stay safe. Stay sane as possible as you can. We'll see you guys in the next episode. See you through my eyes. I'm Richie here with Jesus. Take care.
Bye.